here. The first portion, I'm going to go ahead and present to everybody our barcoding solution with the integration to the ACS multi-bin solution and also to the Starship shipping program. So what you're going to see is I'm going to present first, walk through the transactions, do a quick receipt so you can see how easy it is to receive the items and start putting them in bin locations, do a few inventory transactions, and then finish up with my portion showing you how you can pick an order, getting the validation that barcoding allows you to, and seamlessly getting that data into your Stage 100 system so that Starship can complete that shipping process for you. So I'll go first. We'll pass it on over to Caroline over at V Technologies for Starship, and then I'll go ahead and Ron will pick it up there at the end. So to start off, this is what you would see when you launch ScanForce, and this is just an emulator. So what you're looking at is a scanner. The screens are all color touch screens. So you would ordinarily have to go ahead and tap on a screen with your finger or the stylus pen. You're going to see me navigate with the mouse just to indicate where someone would touch the screen. So what you would do is simply just log in. Here are all the logins. And these are tied to user profiles within our module, so you can control user permissions. You can even password protect this so people can share handhelds, and you don't have to worry about someone logging in with someone else's permissions. So I'll tap on Login. It gets you to our main menu. And first thing we'll do, as I mentioned, is a receipt. So I'm going to tap on the order processing and launch PO receiving. So we're going to assume that a purchase order has been created in your Stage system, and now it's on the receiving dock ready to be received in. So we'll go ahead and you can scan the barcode off of a barcoded purchase order that's been printed off. You could key in the item, or you do have lookup options here. You can look up by purchase order or also by item. So if you scan the purchase order, it actually, I see what we're doing here. This is actually a validation point here to make sure that you do not have multiple people getting into the same purchase order. So we will go ahead and clear that out real quickly for you. All right, and then we will go ahead and re-receive that in then. And that, again, locks it or prevents you from actually having two people trying to get into the same purchase order, or somebody getting back into that purchase order back in your Stage system when someone's in the process of receiving it. Okay. So what we do is we scan the barcode, it connects up, and what it's doing is connecting up using a wireless network. So it would connect up to your Stage system and instantly load the data for that purchase order onto your handheld screen. Now, since it's loaded onto your handheld here, you could walk outside of wireless or even lose your wireless connection. You're still going to get instant data validation and even data lookups if you need them. With the multi-bin integration, you need to indicate a location, and what the majority of our customers do is set up a generic receiving bin so you can simply get this receipt into your system quickly and then do a put away as a second step. So we'll go ahead and accept this receiving location, which you can have it set to default to. And now you simply start scanning your items. If you were to scan something that's not an item or key it in, it's going to validate that even outside of wireless, letting you know that it's not on the order. So you have that validation that you're actually receiving the items that you ordered. When you get a valid item, it shows you the description. You get a quantity summary here, and it shows you the unit of measure also. If there are multiple units of measure, you can change that here, but it's going to default to what's on the purchase order. And you can key in the quantity using the keypad here, or have it set to what we call auto increment, which would simply take it as a quantity of 1 and just keep accumulating the quantity for you. Now, if you try to over-receive, the handheld validates that also and can simply lock you down so you can't over-receive, or it could be set to warn you, and then you can continue if you wanted to. So we'll key in our quantity with our label printing software. The handheld can be set to prompt you to print these receipt labels. So if you receive items in without barcodes, you would simply barcode the purchase order, scan those barcodes off of that, tap on print here, it connects up to the server and print out to a thermal printer. So now your items are going to be labeled for all the other transactions, including shipping. We'll continue on scanning items here. Now this item is not set for label printing software, so you can actually set it up by item. So items that do come with barcodes, you don't have to worry about somebody accidentally printing out labels. So we'll simply connect through. When I'm done, send my data back to my Stage system. It connects up wirelessly, and it's going to import in using our unattended import back to your receipt of goods entry. If you try to send that data when you're not in wireless, you wouldn't lose any data. It simply pops up a dialog box telling you unable to connect to the host. Now, back in my purchase order module here, and I go into receipt of goods entry with batch processing turned on, it's going to import into the last batch, not marked private. If there isn't one, it will generate one for you. And now here is the receipt that was created based on what we did on the handheld. So you can come back here, review this, make changes if necessary before you post or update it, or we do have an auto post feature that would automatically post this for you, so you wouldn't even have to come back here. So the solution can be as real time as you want it to be. Now, navigating on the handheld away from receiving here, you simply tap exit, and then back gets me over to my main menu. So once we've done that receipt, now you need to put the items away. So under inventory transactions, we have a put away. The first thing you need to do is indicate the warehouse you're working in, and all of your warehouse codes that are set up in your Sage system would show up here in a drop-down. So you can choose whatever warehouse will take your default. And now with the put away, you have options here. You can have it set to the same from and to locations, same from, or same to location. Most people go with the same from location because most of our customers, again, have it set up for that receiving bin. So I will go ahead and pull that. The from location that we'll deal with is the receiving bin. It'll hold that for me. So now I simply just start putting away my items. So I would scan the item. It's going to tell me how many I have in this bin, which is 10 that I received in. So I go ahead and move these 10. And I will take them over to another bin. Now, with multi-bin, what that will do there is it automatically knows to connect up, send the data over, and also update it so the handheld is keeping real-time inventory for you so you know what you have. So that's the put-away process. The last piece of inventory that I want to show you is the physical count here. We do have inventory issues and receipts, and then transfers would simply be just moving an item from one bin to another bin, basically doing the same thing that the put-away did, except you could just simply go out and do that at any point. Now, when you're doing a physical count or just a cycle count, simply launch the transaction. Multiple handhelds can be counting at the same time. You indicate your warehouse. You would indicate the location that you're counting. Then you indicate your item, how many you've counted, which again, you could have that auto increment set there as well. Go to your next location, your next item, enter your quantity. So you can see how fast it is to key in this information, scan the barcodes, and then you simply send the data over to your Sage system, once again connecting up wirelessly. Instead of having to sit at a computer and key in all the information for that inventory count, it'll automatically import back over to physical count entry. So when I pull up my warehouse 000 that I just counted, you see here are the items and here are the bin locations and all the quantities that I've counted throughout the day. Here's the last ones that we just counted here. And you can see the other bins that were already previously counted. And then you would print out your variance report that your standard Sage system has to make sure that it does match up. These obviously don't match up, so they would get caught in the variance report. And once you're satisfied with that, you would do your standard posting or updating. Okay. Now, the final part of what I wanted to show on the handhelds here is the actual shipping or picking of an order. So on the handheld, I'm simply going to launch order processing, and now I have sales order shipping. We also automate the RMA module here. That's just on here for these demo purposes here, but we're going to go into the sales order shipping. With multi-bin integration, you start to have some options here. In most cases, people might just go ahead and pick and ship all in one process and then send it back to your Sage system. However, with multi-bin, you now have the option to do what we would consider a true pick and pack. If you were to go through and pick the order, what it's going to do is prompt you through the items and quantities, and it can even direct you with our directed picking, telling you where to go and what to get. And what it will do when you complete that is, it'll actually do a bin transfer out of the bins that it was allocated from during picking sheet printing over to a staging or shipping bin or whatever you wanted to name that. And that'll allow you now to have a real-time view of what your inventory is doing. You can stage these orders, pulling them out of the shelves, and we actually write back and then reallocate the location from the allocation that was out in the warehouse to the staging bin now. And Ron, when he's going through the ACS multi-bin portion, this can explain that in a little bit more detail. But on the handheld side, it does allow you that option to do a true pick and pack. We also have the option to do a wave pick, where you can combine several orders into one pick sheet and walk through the warehouse just simply one time, pick it, and then you would actually pack or stage it then. Now, I'm going to do it in one step here so you guys can see how this flows through really quickly. The first thing you would do is indicate your order, which you can scan off of a picking sheet, connects up wirelessly, and now you can see the handheld's going to tell me where to go and what to get. So I start off with package 1, which this option could be turned on or off, but for shipping it makes sense most of the time to indicate what items are going into what package or box. So we'll start with package 1. I know I need to go to bin A30M and grab item 6655. Now, if I show up to that bin and I go to scan an item, I scan the wrong item, it's going to instantly validate that for me, even if I'm outside of wireless. So I have instant validation of items. I go scan my item, validates it for me. Here are the bins that I'm supposed to go pick from. Scan my bin. There are 5 in this bin, but there's 10 on this order, so I simply just grab my 5. It prompts me for the next item, telling me to go, which ends up being the same item, but only 5 fit in that first package. So now I go to this location here, change it to package 2, scan my item, indicate my location, which I could tap on this right here and pull this onto the handheld as well, or you could scan that. And now I complete that item by putting the remaining 5 in it. Now I'm at my final item. We'll stay in package 2 because let's say we can fit this item in here. Scan that final item. Oh, I already grabbed that from an earlier one, so we'll go ahead and, that was the wrong item. I get my correct item now. I have my bin location. Now this is a lotted inventory item, so when I indicate my quantity here, the handheld now knows to prompt me for a lot number. Same thing would happen with serialized inventory. As you saw in that first item, it knows if it's not a lotted or serialized item, it doesn't need to capture that. At this point here, it'll prompt me for this and actually validate it also, so you don't have to worry about cross-referencing lot numbers. So if I were to scan something else that's not the appropriate lot, it'll warn me for that. So I'll scan the correct lot number. And now it knows that I'm done picking this order, so it doesn't prompt me for anything else. I do have collected data here, by the way, that I can see what I've scanned at any point, and it'll list everything, or I can search even by package. If I can't remember what I put in package 2, I can highlight that, and it'll show me the items and quantities. This is also where I can go and I can delete things, so I have a little editing power on the handheld from the collected data screen. Otherwise, I simply send my data back over, connect up wirelessly, and now it'll import back to your Sage system back into shipping data entry. And again, it'll import into the last batch, not marked private. If there isn't one, it will create one for you. And we do have options where you can indicate batches ahead of time back in your Sage system, and the handheld will actually prompt you for which batch you would like to import into. So I'll pull this up. Here is the shipment that we just created. So here are the items, here's the quantity, and here's the shipping information as well. And this is now where you would actually pick up your Starship solution to go ahead and complete the shipping process. So at this point, I'm going to pass on over to Caroline. And there you go, Caroline.
Thanks, Steve. Hopefully everybody can see my screen okay. Just going to bring Starship up here. And let's just make this full screen for you guys. Okay, so now that Steve has done the pick and the pack process on the handheld, you can go into Starship and just select that order number that you want to ship against. So I have an enhancement here that allows me to actually select an order number for the invoice document type, because we're going to pull that invoice that was created on the fly by the ScanForce solution to retrieve all the item and box level information. So as soon as we come into our ship screen, you're going to see over here on the left-hand pane all the order header level information that we translated from this order. So things like your ship via will get translated to the service and carrier. Billing type can also be translated, as well as obviously the sender and recipient. What I really want to show you is down here in the bottom area of our screen, the packaging view. If I expand this packaging view and look at all the items, you'll be able to see here all the detail that was scanned in using the handheld. So this makes your shipping process a lot more efficient because you have now the item to the box level information, and you're able to get that information into Starship using a very efficient method, being the ScanForce handhelds. So from here, you can actually weigh the package on an electronic scale and have it automatically flow into Starship. Or in this case, you'll see that we're using the item weights from inventory. I'm just going to drill into this item really quick as long as we're talking about item level information. This is one of the areas where you can really automate the shipping part of it. This happens to be an international shipment going to Canada. So with an international shipment, you'll know that there is some additional shipping data that we need to have in order to process the shipment. Typically, this information isn't available in the ERP system. So things like the Schedule B code that you'll see here on the item tab, this may or may not be stored inside of your MAS system. If it is stored, you can use our customized interface feature to map that into Starship. Otherwise, you can actually store this information in Starship's data And Starship will pull in as much information as we can directly from the order, and then we'll fold in the additional detail to give you a complete view of your shipment. So if we drill into this international data section here, you'll see some other details about this item that are coming into Starship. Things like the EEI classification, which has to do with SED and uploading your information to the government. And then also the certificate of origin types for this particular commodity. In addition to the item level detail for international, I just want to make everybody aware that Starship does have AES Direct integration. So we can push data to the AES Direct website if you have a requirement to send your export detail to the government. Additionally, Starship allows you to set the carrier to file on your behalf. In this instance, the carrier will obviously charge you for that service. In addition to sending the information off to the AES Direct site to help automate that process of reducing the manual entry where that's concerned, Starship will also go out and connect up to the email address associated to the AES Direct login to help retrieve that ITN number that's associated with this shipment. Also helping to automate the shipping workflow for you. So from here, we can also do a rate shop on this shipment. So we're going to rate these two packages going to Canada. And Starship's going to go out to all of the carriers that I have available on my license and rate and bring that all up on screen. So when Starship sends its rating transactions out, it's doing that directly to the carrier's website to allow you to get your most accurate negotiated rate at the time of shipment. And then here you'll see in this rate quote area the results of that rating. So I have my charges coming up, least expensive to most expensive way to ship the package. The translated ship via is going to be selected here. However, you could at this point select another carrier. You'll also notice here that I have a combination of both parcel and LTL carriers showing in my rate shop window. So Starship does allow you the ability to ship both modes directly from the same user interface. For LTL, we're obviously going to be printing out the BOL and the associated LTL information like NMFC code and subcode and class. Will all be associated to the item level information, just like the Schedule B code is for international shipments. And for those Starship users on the line, we are in the process of expanding our direct LTL support. We will be supporting 14 of the top national carriers and should have all of them complete by end of year. Right now we have probably about 10 or so available to you. So carriers such as Old Dominion, ABF, Conway, FedEx Freight, UPS Freight are all available directly from the Starship user interface. By connecting up directly to the carrier, not only do you get your accurate negotiated rate, but you also get the ability to tender the shipment electronically, giving you the pro number that can then be updated in your Sage documents. From this screen, I could also click on delivery here, and maybe I want to decide how to ship it based on when it's going to get there. And just so you also know, Starship can automate the selection of the carrier using the ship via rules. So you can define what you would consider the cheapest or the fastest and how you would want Starship to select the carrier under your circumstances. And then Starship can automatically select that. So if I keep the ship via that was translated here, just going to do a ship and process. So either click the ship and process or hit F5 or scan F5. And then we're going to go ahead and process the shipment, generate the barcoded shipping label, and then update Sage in real time. So here's my first shipping label that's going to come out. This happens to be the packing list plus the shipping label. However, you could print the shipping label on a regular 4x6 to a thermal label printer. You could have the packing list also print to a 4x6-inch label on a thermal label printer, and in that case you would have the shipping label followed by the packing list. So you'd have 2 labels for every package. You could just throw the packing list right into the package and then put the shipping label on the outside of the box. Again, this is going to be the information that was scanned in using the ScanForce handheld. So Steve scanned in 5 of this item 6655 into this first box. And then he scanned in the other 2 items into the second box. So the remaining of the 6655 and then the 8953s. Because this was an international shipment, Starship is also going to produce all the international documentation for you. So here is the commercial invoice. All the header level information from your order is going to be filling in the top part of the commercial invoice. So you'll see your invoice or order number filled in automatically for you, your PO number. And then down here in the body of the commercial invoice is going to be your line item detail. Again, another international document, the NAFTA CO. Similar to this commercial invoice, header level information at the top, and then the item level information in the body of the CO. And then you're ready to process your next shipment. So before I go back into Sage to show you what got updated from a shipping perspective, I just wanted to bring up a couple other areas where the item to box level information can be used. So this is our email notification. Let me just refresh this really quick. And it's going to ask me to log in here. So this is the email that is generated by Starship as a result of the shipment. These emails can go out automatically as soon as you process the shipment, or you can set them to go out at a specific interval. Here you'll notice that I have my email address coming directly from the order. You can have this email coming from the AR record, or you can have the salesperson email address flowing through here. And then I also have a static email address. So you can define who the recipient of this email is going to be. It can be an email address that's associated to your Sage document or a static one. Put your logos in, and then the detail about this particular shipment that's really nice here is because we're using the ScanForce handhelds, you're going to be able to put all of the detail about the packages and the items that are in those packages in the email that's going out to your customer. So this will hopefully reduce a lot of the inbound inquiries that your customer service teams are receiving, while also providing a lot of detail to your customers for even better customer service. You can also put promotional items in here, send them back to your website. So you can do a lot with the email notification. There are templates that come predefined in Starship, or you can take those and tweak them. And then you can also define when certain email templates would be used, so you can put conditions around them. So if you have maybe drop shipments and you don't like to change the logo based on a bill to, you can do that and have various emails look and feels based on billing or customer ship to. And then the other thing I just wanted to bring up while I have you guys on the line is our dashboard. So a lot of our Starship customers are out there may not know about the dashboard, so I wanted to bring it up while we had you all on the line. The dashboard is a great place for front office personnel, customer service to gain access into shipment detail outside of the shipping client or even your mass system. Just gives you a little bit more detail on the shipments. I'll show you what gets updated on the Sage side. But from here, you can, maybe management might want to see some key performance indicators as it relates to shipping, and drill into maybe this customer that has a lot of volume, and go actually directly into that shipment, see what packages are included, what line items. You can also run reports from here. A couple of the reports that I know customers like to run, shipment charge comparison, comparing the freight charge that is updated on the invoice to the one that your carrier is supposed to charge you. So you can see if you're losing or making money on the freight. And also the late deliveries report. So Starship will do a background track on all of your shipments, and it'll compare the guaranteed date and time to the actual delivered one and report any discrepancies. Also good for cost savings. Okay. The other thing that I really didn't mention too much about as far as getting all that item detail from the ScanForce solution is the idea that that can then be passed over to an EDI solution. Starship can generate the 128 labels for you, and it can send the pick and pack detail along with the tracking information to an EDI solution so the ASN can get generated in a more automated fashion. So let's go back into Sage really quick. I just want to show you the invoice and the information that Starship wrote back. So I'm just going to click on this last button. Here's that sales order 228 that we shipped against, the tracking information. So here are the two tracking numbers for those packages that Steve shipped earlier. And then on the totals tab, our freight charge. This freight charge can include a customized handling fee, and Starship also has freight rules that allow you to further define how and when you want to ship the package. The freight rules can include variable fields based on your Sage 100 data. So if you want to create a rule based on the order total, so if the order total is greater than 200, then you do not want to charge freight. You can do something of that nature directly from Starship so that your front office personnel doesn't have to calculate that. Okay, I think that's all I had. And I just need to pass it to Ron.
Thank you very much, Caroline. That was impressive. Love that dashboard, too. I'm Ron Chomp. Thank you for coming. I wanted to show our product of multi-bin warehouse management. Sometimes we're referred to as like the engine of some of the things you've seen today. You're looking at an inventory maintenance screen, and I wanted just to give you an overview of what where your inventory could be, and what Steve was just showing you on how he just did a pick and pack. You can see here that I have my inventory, and I'm on the multi-bin tab of inventory maintenance, and you see I have different bin locations here on the left-hand side, and the type of bin locations is right next to it. I can have primary bin locations, which could be the kind of bin locations that I can replenish my inventory on a periodic basis, weekly or monthly or whatever works for you. We provide a replenishment, primary bin location replenishment report if you so desire. You don't have to have primary bin locations. It's just a feature that we provide if you so desire. You can also have ordinary pick locations. You can have overflow locations and staging locations too. Like this, I have a returns location right here. It's a staging location. And what you're seeing here in red is an indication that it is the SRA says it's a staging location for return of goods, the RMA module, MAS 90. And it's disabled from sales order, so it reduces my quantity available in sales order, so someone doesn't try to accidentally sell the inventory, and also it not only limits my ability to sell inventory out of that location, but it will reduce my net quantity available. Some of the highlights that we do for you, some customers, when they print pick sheets, they just want to print the available inventory on the pick sheet so their warehousemen know where to go get their inventory, and that's good. We also provide what we call directed picking, and it's a feature where the system will allocate the inventory as you print the pick sheet, and I'm going to show that to you here in a minute. I keep getting this message here on the screen on my color. And so when we do the directed picking features in the system, it looks at the settings in the system. I'm just bouncing into the options in the system real quick, and it looks at settings of how I like to allocate my inventory. Maybe I like to allocate the oldest ones first, when I last received it. If I have lotted inventory, maybe it's based on the lot receipt date. And in my case, I have a setting here to deplete inventory first out of my primary bin locations. Once again, I can break down my inventory in different ways. I can have primary areas, overflow areas, and other areas like staging locations. And what I want to do here now is show you real quick. I'll grab, if I was going to go shipping for the day, and I'm going to select this selection screen here to select the orders that I want to print pick sheets for. And I'm going to select out of my warehouse 000, and I'm going to grab all my orders that have a designated ship date today. I don't have to do that, but that's what I choose to do. Maybe I want to choose. I can do another selection later in the day, perhaps of looking all the orders that I have in the system from a null ship date to today's date to make sure I get any back order inventory that I happen to receive in during the day. In my case here, I have 30 to 100% fill rate. You can designate the options of what you prefer in fill rates on the orders, and here I'm allowing to ship partials of less than 100%. I can do a selection, so it's going through my warehouse 000, and it's selecting my orders, going through, looking at settings in the system. I can designate priority codes to my customers, and in this case, I have my A, B, C, D customers, and I can include them in my batch by just clicking over here, and then I can choose to print pick sheets right away, and or a wave pick sheet. So to show what a wave pick sheet looks like, I'll select the print there, and it's referring to only this batch now. And in a wave pick sheet, it's looking at these 4 orders, and it's representing all the bin locations in bin location order for the picker to go through. And with Steve, with the ScanForce RF handheld, you can go location to location and scan the goods and transfer those goods to the staging location. So I have 70 pieces here, 164 pieces of this one item for this bin location, and so on. I don't have to use the system just for wave picking. I can also print ordinary pick sheets, and these are my regular pick sheets, and it might be useful to package the goods at that time. So I can do pick and pack. So I can select the goods to my shipping dock, and then package them there. Another way of using the RF handheld along with our system is where you just scan the goods and invoice it right there and then. Some customers who are accumulating, goods for a large shipment of maybe over a week's period will sometimes stage inventory. Or maybe as a regular procedure, you would like to do that too. Maybe you're not shipping the same day or shipping the next day and you're accumulating. Or maybe it's more efficient to print in a wave batch. But along with this handheld and our software, we can do it either way of pick by order or pick for a group of orders of however you would like to do things. To look back at my inventory, I can go back to inventory maintenance and just refresh my screen and take a look at what's happened here. And you can see here that my quantity on hand in this bin location, which is my primary bin location, notice that 70 has been allocated. If I click on the Alloc button here, it's drilled down. And what has happened here is when I did this selection of inventory and allocated, it reserved inventory out of the primary bin locations to these immediate orders right here, 174 and 175 out of bin location A10L right here and here. And then after it depleted my primary bin location, I had the other option of saying, look, go through the rest of my warehouse, get the oldest inventory first. And it first went to B10M, and it selected that here. And if you look here at the receipt date, that's my oldest receipt date, 8/15/2013. You might say, well, why did it skip the overflow area? And that's because in the settings of the system, I said, look, don't go to the overflow area unless you deplete my pick area first. So this way, you can stage your larger case goods in the back and ship those for larger orders, or rotate that inventory later into your ordinary pick area if you desire. The other thing here is you can see that I have 100 pieces in my shipping location, staging location. There's 100 pieces on hand, 100 allocated, and I wanted to click back in here and show what happened here. And this is what it would look like if you're doing the pick and pack. That's when the pickers scan the goods and for the order and associate it to the sales order and then move the inventory to the shipping dock. And this way you have a real-time view of exactly what's on hand in your bin locations. Great if you're doing physical count the same day, the next day, and staging inventory for your shipments like I was discussing earlier. The other nice thing about everything I was doing here is the audit trail. I just clicked on the detail button here, and we provide a reference number so they help organize transactions. And you can see here that where inventory came out of the A10L location and went into the shipping dock, and where it moved the allocation or the reservation to the sales order from one location to another. And that's what would happen if you had the RF handheld scanning the goods. So you have a nice audit trail maintained in the system by bin location of what goes on. And also who did it, and you see a lot of runs here of who did the activity. To go along with that, if I go back over to my shipping document here, I can go back and I can create another shipment. And in this case, I'll select just one customer. Let me see if I can do just the Breslin customer in this case. But I'm going to open up the ship date range from null to today's date, and it goes through and it selected one order, and this one was designated as a prior date for shipment, and it has a 100% fill rate. If I click on the log, I can get a view of some things of why it didn't select some orders. And having a log in handy to identify issues, a lack of inventory or other things, the system helps. So here I have one order that's on hold and another one where a Breslin order exists on another sales order. So I can have features to where I can have ship complete orders, and maybe I don't have sufficient inventory to ship, or if I had orders I'm trying to ship and I don't have sufficient inventory and it doesn't meet my fill rates, it can be included on. It can be represented on the log, and I'll be able to take action if it couldn't ship an order. So I think that's about it. What I wanted to show today for directed picking and your ability to either ship for an individual order and to do a group of orders. I wanted to mention that we provide options to replenish your primary bin locations, to replenish your ordinary inventory by settings in the system, and we provide a put-away system where you can receive goods in the system and you print a put-away report. It looks at rules in the settings. I'll go in options here real quick, and here you can define some rules on how you want to put your goods away. In the setup of items and product lines, you can set default zones of where goods are to go. Some customers might say, well, that's a lot of settings, and really we're designed to be simple, but yet if you want to take advantage of some of the more advanced features, you can do so at a later time. You can start off by simply putting in bin locations in the system, start receiving inventory and shipping out of it, and then you can get more advanced as time goes by and implement in different phases. Maybe you want to define capacities and locations, and then get into these features of the put away or replenishments, what have you. The real nice thing too is the integration between all the parties that you have here today. Yes, we're the engine. We kick it off. We reserve some of the inventory. Then the RF handhelds can scan the goods because they can walk through. They can be guided through the warehouse to earmark the goods or pick the goods that have been earmarked in the system to pick first. And then it goes to the shipping dock or to the shipping system, and the Starship system. You don't have to double key anything, and it retrieves the entire shipment information for you without double keying anything. And so it's very well optimized for most operations. So we really appreciate you coming today. I'm going to turn it over to our host, and we really appreciate their assistance today, ERP VAR. And I don't know if there was some questions today or anything else we can help with, but thank you very much.
And I hope everybody can hear me. My computer earlier had defaulted to the wrong microphone, so I apologize. There was a horrible echo in the beginning. Hopefully it's clearer now. But we do have several questions, and what I'd like to do is launch some polls. Thank you, Ron, Caroline, and Steve. Excellent presentation. I'm going to be launching some polls while we're asking the question, so if everyone can be mindful to the poll on the screen. I'm going to ask you 3 polls. And the first poll is, are you interested in learning more about Starship? So while I announce these questions, it'd be great if the audience could take a minute to answer this poll. And we'll go ahead and begin with the questions. Would like to get a copy of the recorded session? Yes, we have recorded this, and we will be sending out the recording to everybody who attended today. Will there be a recording? Yes. What are the 10 or 14 LTL carriers you are supporting? I'm assuming that is a Starship question, so Caroline, you're on.
Hey guys, it's Caroline. Yeah, the carriers that we're supporting, a huge list of them, comprise UPS Freight, FedEx Freight, YRC, Conway, Old Dominion, Saia, Estes, Holland, New Penn, Redaway, AAA Cooper. I'm sure there are a few other ones in there. I can send an email out with the entire list of those that are supported. We also have what we call our BOL module, which allows you to define any number of SCACs in the system so that you can help generate the BOL based on the information that's coming through on the shipment. And then you are able to scan the pro number in and get that updated on the shipment as well.
Okay, and then Caroline, we do have another Starship question. What version of Starship are we seeing?
The version that you're looking at right now is 13.1.
And then same email notifications for Starship link as BOI?
Yes. And actually with the newer Starship link for version 4.5 and 2013, we have enhanced it quite a bit to bring over the line item information so that you can get that detail onto the email notifications just like you're looking at today.
And thank you, Renee, Glenn, and Ann for those questions. And then we do have a request for sending the carriers list, Caroline, so if we can put that together, we'll get that over to them. And then we do have a comment, love Starship. I use it now, but I didn't catch the email creation section. And thank you, Steve, for that question. I will get you in contact with Caroline at the end of the presentation so she can show you the email creation section. If you are picking items from different locations, can you include them into one package only?
Yes. Can you guys hear me? This is Steve over at ScanForce.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, you can. You don't have to separate them into different packages. You could put them into one package. Now, I'll let Caroline answer as far as how that might impact Starship and how you go ahead and complete the shipment process on that end. But on the handheld side, yeah, you don't even have to have the packaging enabled on the handheld, which then would put everything into one package for you.
And then on the Starship side, typically you're going to have, whether you have one package or multiples, are going to be going to one ship-to address. Starship does support, outside of, this particular interface where we're grabbing directly from one invoice, it does support with the BOI interface retrieving multiple orders for a particular shipment and consolidating those for you. But they're always going to be, to one ship-to.
And then we do have a question. We have Starship now, version 13. We are upgrading now to Sage 100, Sage 2013. We are very interested in the email creation. Please send me information on that as well. So we'll get that over.
Any of those, we can just collect the names, and I'll definitely reach back out to everybody who's interested in that. And we can either do a separate webinar specifically on email notification, because it sounds like a lot of people are interested in that, or I'll definitely send out some emails directly to you so you can at least get some details on it.
And Stephen, thank you so much for your question. I'm going to try and read this as clearly as possible. Prompt us, this is not a primary bin location. Do you guys know how to answer that question, or you need some clarification?
Sorry, was that for me? They prompt us for not a primary bin location. Maybe to get alerted if you're selecting inventory from a non-primary bin location. When on picking sheets in different areas in the system, we reflect the kind of location that you're picking from. Especially if you're trying to if you're getting inventory from the primary bin location, we like to indicate that in like pick sheets and the screens and so on. So and if the prompt was referring to some other features we have I didn't talk about, we do have like a like on-the-fly, what we call on-the-fly allocations, so that if you have primary bin locations designated, the system can automatically put locations in your transactions, and we provide prompts to alert you, to allow you to do that, like receipt of goods, shipping, and so on, and the manufacturing modules, I should say, too.
And I did think that you guys answered this question. We're getting a bunch of new questions coming in, so bear with me. I think you just answered this, but let's confirm, is there a way to show primary bin location while using the feature?
Yeah, like on the pick sheets and the screens, we reflect the location types and whether or not you're printing from the primary pick locations. And then you have settings in the system if you want to lean pickers to go to that, or if you want to lean your receipt of goods transactions, or if you want to issue goods out of primary bin locations, there's settings to put in there to help you do that. So you can see it, as well as the system can help automate features too.
And if anybody was interested on the handheld side of things, this is Steve, everybody. We can have that set so that it will suggest for you. It will display across the bottom of the screen. Then when it prompts you for the bin, it will suggest the primary bin location and highlight that in yellow. So it'll kind of direct you on where to go. Like, for example, if you're doing a bin transfer or even doing that put away that I showed, it'll highlight that and kind of, again, suggest where to go, but not limit you to necessarily have to put it in that bin. Now, even on the directed picking side of it, it's going to reference what bins were allocated from the ACS picking sheet. So that's going to, as I showed you, display that, but also you can pick a different bin if you have to. So for whatever reason the system isn't correct, you show up at a bin location that's been allocated and it's not there, you could choose a different bin.
And I would like to see a webinar more focused on ScanForce. When do you plan on that? And Stacy, we will be planning another ScanForce webinar shortly here, so we'll make sure you get an invitation to that. And then I would like the list of shippers supported by Starship. I think we're going to be providing that. I would be interested in more information on the email. We'll get you in touch with Caroline. Michelle, thank you for your question. I had 2 clients with ScanForce since a decade ago, and the physical count feature made the quarter and annual count a breeze. Thank you, Kay-Han. That was very sweet. I had a call in with, okay, so that he was having technical difficulties. I am a current Starship user. Is e-notify an additional module, or does it come standard?
It's just a standard feature in the application. So as long as you are on a version that supports email notification, which would be one of the like 1302-ish, you are good to go. And you just need to set up the templates and define if you want conditions and to put your logo in there, and you're all good.
And then thank you, Glenn, for your question. I'm a current Starship user. Is e-notify an additional module, or does it come standard? We just answered that, right?
It's free. Enjoy.
Would it work?
Oh, wait. I should put the caveat in there that it's free for customers current on subscription. So if you are current, you're good to go.
Would it work for lot serial? Thank you, Victor.
The email notification?
I'm assuming they are referring to the entire solution, lot serial number tracking.
Yeah, I think that's, that's kind of part of the ACS ScanForce solution as far as the lot and serial information. I think Steve actually showed one instance where it was coming from a lot. But on the Starship side, we bring that in. We store that information in our tables as well, so you could utilize that to print in various places.
And thank you, Rains. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to comment, on the scanner, just to reiterate what Caroline had mentioned there, that, the scanner knows to prompt for that and validate that, and then also for the lot or serial number.
And how does it know how many items will fit in a package?
On our side, when you're indicating what items go into a package, it doesn't. It's not exactly prompting you on what package to put that in. So it's just simply allowing you to designate what items go into those packages or boxes.
And then how can we do separate pick and pack with ScanForce and then ship out through Starship? We need to rebox most of our shipments, and our pickers won't know how many boxes we will need to ship out in the final shipment. Thank you, Jason.
During the pick process, you would not indicate what items are going into the packages or boxes at that point. The pick process is simply going to allow you to walk through the warehouse and grab those items, knowing that the correct items and quantities for the order. And then what that does is actually that bin transfer, pulling it out of that bin that you pulled it out of and placing it over in that staging or shipping bin that Ron had showed. You could have a couple of those set up there. So it's a two-step process at that point. And you can then use the handhelds to do that packaging or final shipment process where you do indicate the package or box, or you could even pull it up and just ship it directly at that point if it's just been picked.
And Caroline, for the email creation, is there a version of Sage 100 that you need to be on in order for it to work?
No, but like I said, for those customers that are using the Starship link, being on the 4.5 or 2013 version does give you the added benefit of seeing the line item information flowing through. Earlier Starship link interfaces were header level only, so you could still get the emails out and do all the branding, but you wouldn't have that line item information.
And then for multi-bin, pre-allocation picking sheet, will that be allocated, or will that allocate bin into flow into ScanForce scanner? If so, will the scanner validate the pre-allocated bin info?
Yes, absolutely.
And then does Starship support all freight companies?
Well, the interfaces that I talked about earlier are direct integrations to the carriers themselves, which give you the ability to get your negotiated rate and to tender your shipment in real time. We do offer some integration to transportation management systems like FreightView, where they can load your negotiated contracts and you can rate from there. So you pretty much can get the full coverage, whether or not Starship is directly connecting to the carrier or you're using a transportation management system to do that.
And we have another question here. David, thank you for your question. This is a DM2 question. Does Sage 100 barcode work with DM2 version of Sage 100 using Proxima database?
We actually don't have any installs with the DM2 solution, but we have talked to them before, and we can do that. So that would be something we'd need to basically take up kind of offline from this to just make sure that we had all of our programs set up correctly.
Can I pin that the DM2 has done some work with our solution and the integration, and so the path to using the ScanForce solution from our solution is not that far away.
And then does physical count on the handheld require inventory to be frozen ahead of time as usual?
No, it doesn't. It can be actually set up two ways. One, you could simply go and scan any item, and if it's not frozen, it would trigger the item freeze back upon import. Or you could have it set where you do freeze the items ahead of time, and then even have the handheld lock it down so that the user can only scan items that are frozen. Like if you were going to do a cycle count, you could just freeze that product line or whatever you wanted to use for your filter on that, and then it would only allow the user to scan the items that are frozen.
And then does multi-bin work with bill of materials for pulling inventory and creating kits through bill of materials?
Absolutely. In bill of materials, in addition, we have features where you can manually select inventory from locations, or you can automatically select inventory out of locations. You can do that automatically for both bill of materials and work order. You can also default destination bin locations too. You can have staging locations for where inventory goes to, or you can have various overrides in the system so that you can default some of that information too.
Does it have substitution option, back order, automatic cancellation of back order?
If that was for me, that's a MAS 90 feature, and MAS 90, I think, if that's what we're referring to, MAS 90 has the options of that, and we just work along with the way MAS 90 handles back orders and whether or not you want that on or off.
Does it have pack and hold, processing, shipping for a future release?
I didn't know. Go ahead.
I was just going to say pack and hold. I'm not honestly exactly sure what is meant by that, but the actual picking process would allow you to get that order staged and then hold it for however long you needed to until it was ready to actually ship, if that's what the question was.
And then does it have any carton level functionality?
If that's the question for multi-bin, we provide a license plate pallet management and case pack management system where you can designate, where you can keep track of your inventory and buy cartons and you can define different kind of case packs and pallets if you want. I didn't know if that was for me.
And on the ScanForce note of that, just to kind of follow up with that, we do have integration with the ACS pallet tracking or license plating, however you want to word that. We do have integration with that as well.
So, Jose, we'd like to get back in touch with you and just get a little bit more clarity on exactly what you're looking to accomplish, so we'll do so. Do all the products that we have seen today support the sequel version of Sage 100?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, on our part as well.
Can you show the tracking numbers again? So Scotia, we will get in touch with you, and I'll put you right in touch with Caroline, and she'll show you that feature personally. Unless, Caroline, you wanted to go ahead and show your screen again, I can make you presenter.
Sure. And are we looking at, was the question regarding tracking numbers back into the package summary tracking screen or email? Maybe we can get some clarification on that, but I can show you both of those in any case.
Oh, you know what? It looks like she's left.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get in touch with her.
Okay.
Can you set the system up so that you can set your pick sheets up to pick from beginning of warehouse to back of the warehouse?
Yes. We refer to that as wave batch picking or wave picking, and we provide 2 or 3 templates on how to do that. You can do that on individual orders or group of orders.
And can we use the RF to receive product we manufacture?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple ways to answer that, honestly. If you guys are just doing an inventory receipt through inventory transaction entry, yeah, that is a transaction that we do automate. If you guys are actually creating purchase orders for yourselves to receive in, yes, I showed that also. And we do handle the automation of the bill of materials module for production entry. And there's also a solution where you can actually automate the work order module also, that you can go ahead and complete work orders and get items in inventory that way. So there's several ways to handle that one of the things I want to mention before too is what we could do is if anybody's interested in this and talking in more detail, we can set up more of a one-on-one demonstration where we really dive into the details of what you all are doing and how our solutions can work with that. And both Caroline and I and Ron and I, all three of us, have done separate demos individually for customers too, if that's what's needed.
And so we have about 6 more questions. If everybody wants to hang tight, if anybody has to leave, we certainly understand. We are 6 minutes over the hour, and I'd like to announce these 6 remaining questions, if possible. Are the speakers okay to stay on?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we see the primary locations? The put away they can. It looks like then can it prompt? Okay, can we see the primary locations on the put away? Then can it prompt this is no primary bin location?
Yes, we have some nice settings. That's in regards to our put away features. You can choose to receive goods and then put goods away to your primary bin locations only if it's depleted. So there's a setting in the system so that just because your primary bin location is empty or or needs to be filled, if you have other inventory that needs to be cycled in there, you don't necessarily just want to put goods into your primary bin location. So we have options to just receive goods in and only put goods in your primary bin location if you have no other inventory. If you want to receive goods in your primary bin locations regardless, you can do that too. And I should mention that we have another setting in the system for to put goods away in your shipping dock too, so that if you have no inventory and you have back orders, the system can direct inventory to go right into shipping, and it will tell you to ship some back orders right away, rather than having you put the goods away and then having to move them back.
And then are there any rules for insurance value for the shipping based on order total?
Well, Starship gives you the ability to define what actually gets mapped into the declared value. From there are some settings on the within the declared value to divide it evenly, or to select a separate amount for each separate package. So there's some value there, and maybe I can get back with that person, whoever's asking, with regards to their specific requirement.
And are there any rules? Are the entries with the handhelds Wi-Fi or RF?
It's the radio frequency connecting up through your Wi-Fi. So you basically just set up a Wi-Fi hotspot is the way to think of it in your warehouse, and you can cover as much of your warehouse as you want. If you want to cover every square inch, that's fine. That means you can transmit data anywhere. Some of our customers actually just set up a little hotspot basically, and that's where you can transmit data back and forth. And as I was showing during the demo there, and I was trying to be clear about it, but I was a little pressed for time, so I hope I got through on that. You don't have to be in connection at all times. We're loading the data on the front end of a transaction, so when you're picking that order or receiving in that purchase order, if you're not in wireless coverage when you're doing that actual receiving or picking, you still have the validation for that particular order and the lookups.
Are packing slips crystal-based and editable?
If you're talking about the packing slip in Starship, the packing slip is a template inside of the actual Starship solution, and they are editable. The editing feature looks very similar to Crystal, although it is not Crystal in the Starship solution itself, because we do use the same editor for both the thermal labels as well as the laser type labels or documents such as the packing list.
And are the latest updates available for ScanForce Warehouse and ACS Multibin with the latest Sage 100 ERP 2013 version?
Yes. Yeah, this was 5.3 that I was showing also.
And I think that's it for all the questions. Thank you, everybody. It's so interactive, and we really appreciate everybody's time they spent with us today. I'd like to to send it back to Steve for anything that you have for closing, and the speaking crew. Thank you, you guys. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. The only thing I have at closing is just to reiterate what I just mentioned a second ago is that somebody had asked about a future presentation. That yes, we absolutely intend on doing those, and that also, you know, we do work through the Sage Partner channel. So any of you actual end users out there, you can contact your Sage partner, and we can go ahead and set up a separate time to dive into more detail and get into a little more specifics as far as how you all are doing things and how our solution may be of benefit to your actual application.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, we did record this as a reminder, and I will be sending this out to everybody, and we will definitely be in touch. We appreciate everybody spending time with us today. And let us know if you have any questions. But in the meantime, we will touch base. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care,
Thanks,
everybody.
Thank you.